Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. It seems that the server merge last night was successful. Just about an hour or so ago, I logged into the game and all is looking smooth. I've done a bunch of dungeons, I've done some open world things and some Elder Rifts, and everything has been fine with partying up with other players. And no bugs so far. Again, it's very early and I haven't tried out any PvP to see if there's any issues going on there. I'm sure that we'll hear from the community if there are. Inside of this video today, I want to show you what's new inside of the game, which isn't a bunch besides the server merge, which seems to have been successful, but also talk about some bug fixes as well as a community post over on Reddit that is getting a ton of heat, and it's not in a good way for Diablo Immortal. So we're going to look at that a little bit later inside of this video. But first things first, besides the merge, the only difference thing that we have here is the cosmetic collection. As you know, we can go through our cosmetics, see the things that we have. This is my Tempest, so it has the least amount of cosmetics of anything on my account. But as you can see up top here, we have a cosmetics collection. And when you click on this icon, first of all, you could change this icon to look like, well, whatever you've unlocked, which is kind of cool. But in addition to that, it shows you a breakdown of your things. So when you click on the hourglass button, you get the animation and all the cool stuff that comes along with the cosmetic. Now, if I want to switch over to the Tempest, the Prophet's Prodigy cosmetic set, I'm logging on my computer for the first time today, by the way, so things take a while to render in. You see how long this is taking? It's because it's never rendered in before in this new mechanic. But it's coming through. So we have a good way of being able to check out all of our cosmetics. But not only that, we could do the same with the weapons. We could do the same with the portals, which is actually quite nice. You get a really good view of what all these portals look like in a nice, simple, and easy to use place. And you could do it with your special effects as well if you want to see kill effects and ultimate effects and things like that, which is nice and cool because now, again, remember, you could choose which ones that you have. You could use different ones with different sets. So I could have a different ultimate effect with a different cosmetic versus in the past we were a little bit more locked in. So this new thing here is for the day. We also have, it shows collector of the day, shows a couple of people that have the most items there for the day, featuring a few people from the server. You have the most likes that have been received and dark clans, showing some details of the dark clans, with Kush Kush getting the highlight there. If I go to collector of the day, can I throw a thumbs up on someone? Let's throw a thumbs up on Kush Kush. We got a like right there. All right, cool. I do like the cosmetic. But I want to talk more about just this new system, this collector system inside of the game. I actually want to talk to you guys about, well, some of the bug fixes, because some things have actually changed. Typically, bug fixes are quite small. Today, a little bit different. For gameplay, they fixed an issue with demonic remains not being salvageable. That's great, because a lot of the reason why we get the demonic remains, not only to insert them into the Heliquary, but also to be able to upgrade our Heliquary to the next level. Fixed an issue with the Survivor's Bane. I'm sorry, not the Heliquary. I'm talking about the, here, let me take you, show you what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, it is the Heliquary. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Demonic remains right here. When you have extra, they are salvageable. Cool. Sorry, I got off track there. Next, we have fixed an issue with Survivor's Bane. Achievements being earned as expected while the boss rush modifier was applied. Fixing crashing issues with the Abyssal Verge and Airborne. I feel like whenever a brand new game mode comes out like that, you're going to get those types of crashing issues. Fixed an issue where an unintended additional path was available in Purge the Depths. All right, so those are some of the changes right there, but we also have a little bit more as well. Let me move this up because we have some changes to the UI. Fixed an issue where the server merge overview couldn't be viewed. Fixed an issue where the return to sanctuary event UI didn't display properly. Fixed the issue with the red dot notifications after using Terror Essence. That's great. And fixed an issue with Survivor's Bane event duration. All right, so those are a bunch of the fixes that came along with the update that rolled out. Keep in mind, last night's update was like a 2-hour downtime. They had a lot to do pulling in these new servers. And as I run myself around Sanctuary, I just am seeing a lot more people around that well, first of all, that I've never seen before, but also there's just a lot more people in Sanctuary right now. And there's a lot of big wings in Sanctuary too. So it looks like we had a couple of strong servers merge into ours, which should be exciting over the next couple of weeks as we get to play together. I'm less talking about Shadows versus Immortals, and I'm more talking about just being able to play with a bunch of different people, which is going to be quite cool. All right, now let's talk about what was posted over on Reddit, because this one is in depth and it's gotten itself just from 20 hours ago like 130, 140 almost comments. And this is talking about some issues that people are having and why they're quitting the game. As you can see, it's titled "Why Whales Are Quitting Recently and How We Can Improve the Game." So let's actually make this a little bit bigger for your viewing pleasure. There we go. I'm going to pull it down. All right, nice, good. I manage a Diablo Immortal community group of about 40,000 members, which is crazy because who knew that there were 40,000 members in a group for Diablo Immortal? Primarily in Seattle, or that region. I'm not required to enforce Blizzard's terms of service in the group, hence, this page has been featured multiple times for account sales. Typically, around 2 to 3 high resonance accounts, 8K plus residents, are posted monthly. However, in the past few days, there's been a significant increase with more than 20 high res accounts posted in 1 week, including multiple max res accounts, 10,000 residents plus. It's the first time I've seen an entire whale being sold as a package, such as 5 8 res accounts and 3 9 res accounts being sold together at low prices. So what's being said here is that we're seeing a lot of these accounts just now being sold versus, well, in the past when they were obviously being sold less. The surge suggests that the development team may be heading in the wrong direction, meaning that people that have been playing the game and heavily invested in it may not be excited or happy about it anymore. While earnings might seem good due to the recent addition of 16 new resonating slots needing filling by whales, I believe this is temporary. Over time, Blizzard and NetEase will likely see a significant drop in earnings, irrespective of how pay-to-win the update becomes. Whales are already leaving. The general sentiments which might be useful for future improvements are as follows. Now, I really like how this person is giving us some suggestions on what they think would be helpful. Now, of course, not everyone's going to agree, and the number of accounts that they're talking about being sold is a very small number when we talk about how many accounts there are of that status in all of our servers. But still, it's a really good point to be made. And what he's talking about is now that you could increase more gem resonance through the wings, where you could socket, 16 more gems, it's essentially a way to get the big spenders inside of the game to spend more money to increase their res. But really, I guess the question is, do they want to? And what this person is implying is no, they really don't want to spend more, that they feel like it's a never-ending thing. So, number 1, no way to generate platinum. These are 5 concerns. You can run an Elder Rift, but cannot sell your gems. Well, this is true. We've seen this. Competing with bots, selling gems at minimum prices is tough. The only current method to generate platinum is through orb to platinum conversion, which most whales find impractical. This leads to a sense of stagnation in character development. The new Wing Resonance update caused whales to quit, viewing it as an additional expense instead of fostering new demand for legendary gems. I think this is a good point. It's an additional expense, and really the value that they're getting there is just more resonance, and maybe that's just not enough for them to feel that the additional expense is worthwhile. Number 2, limited viable classes in PvP. Now, this is something that's always going to rotate. As updates and buffs and nerfs come, we're going to have classes rise and classes fall in Battlegrounds. I'm going to read through it, but at the same time, I don't think it's the worst thing to have 2 or 3 different classes that are better in Battlegrounds for certain seasons, and then people could class change into those, and it kind of allows people to want to switch classes and play as different classes inside of the game, utilizing that function. Limited viable classes in PvP. Only 2 classes are currently viable in PvP. This situation has led to my clanmate, another max res whale, quitting. He's been a Crusader since launch and feels his role was diminished due to the Tempest. I've seen a lot of people talking about Tempest in PvP. What is the use of having 8 classes when only 2 are viable in PvP? What's the point of having numerous CC essences, sets, potency, and resistance with a single class can remove all the hard CCs and become immune to them with a single essence? Good point. The Tempest is really strong. At the same time, we need to remember that Blizzard's trying to really make sure people are in love with the Tempest. It's the newest, the shiniest item here in Diablo Immortal. I think it's very hard to have 8 classes and have them all balanced and equal in Battlegrounds. When you're talking about the number of essences that we have and how they are all so different, I think it's natural in all games that there's always going to be a hierarchy of classes or of characters or of heroes, depending on the game we're talking about. And I think with good balance changing and every season or every couple of months, those things shift, well, then it could be a fun experience. But I do understand here that his clanmate, that was a Crusader forever, doesn't want to switch. They like the Crusader. That's where they're invested. So then it could be a difficult thing for PvP. Bugs. And we talked about some of the fixes earlier in the video. Imagine investing 7 weeks of hard effort obtaining a blessed region, blessed rain, only to be one-shotted as the Immortal. We've seen this video. Skills sometimes stop working, essences and legendary gems don't perform as described, and players can't enter the Shadow War, Keon Vigil, Rite of Exile, etc. Not being able to complete any game content because you get booted every 3 minutes is frustrating. It took 2 days to fix, and so on. This is actually reminding me of what one of my friends was talking about. I believe that he is on this server cluster, and a lot of people were upset. On the server cluster, the SEA, there's a lot of big spenders over there, and they were having this issue. This video was sent to me where the Immortal was being just one-shotted and the whole reign for weeks was killed. I could understand the frustration. Number 4, inexistent customer support and unjust bans. The current Immortal on our server was mass reported, resulting in a forced clan name change from that to that, first, and a 7-day ban. She filed a ticket immediately, but customer service or customer support resolved it on the 8th day, meaning she had to endure the full ban time unjustly. I've also been banned twice this month for the same reason. We spoke about this months ago when I share with you guys the ban Discord server. Mass reporting is a problem, and it's something that can apparently get people banned for the 7 days, which could be enough time to mess up a reign. And this is definitely a problem. I think probably a little bit more look needs to go into these bans before actually pulling the trigger on the ban, because obviously people can take advantage of the system. Mass reporting could be a real big pain in the butt and can mess people's gameplay up, and not only that, their experience inside of the game. Number 5, the general sense that the game is unrewarding. Recently, I used 1,000 wisps saved over 2 weeks. The result? Only 1 dual stat 3-socket Vithu bracelet and 1 dual stat 3-socket Monte bracelet. The rest were either 2 sockets with 3 stat rolls or 3 sockets with no fortitude. I can't fathom how others who can only craft 1 or 2 pieces per day feel. While I understand the low probability of achieving a 3-3-3, it's disappointing for many players. I've actually been running a lot of dungeons, and I've been doing a lot of farming over the last week's time, and I've gotten a lot of green items, and I too have been trying to get my Vithus set just to the next level. I'm just trying to get the 3 slots or the 3 stats, or just bump them up. Not even as extreme as we're seeing here. And I must have crafted, I don't know, maybe 10 pieces over the past week, and I believe I was able to get 1 piece that was worthwhile. This is literally hours of running dungeons, hours of collecting greens. Most of the time, nothing that I need actually drops from the dungeon, so I need to salvage and then craft with the wisps. I could see how it's a lot of a grind to actually get there. Now, I remember when there was no wisp system inside of the game whatsoever, when it had to drop for you or you weren't going to get it. So this is much better, but it does seem that the odds are a bit stacked against us, and it can be very difficult to get some of those pieces you want. Sometimes taking you months, and then you're getting yourself to a new hell or inferno difficulty, and it's time for you to get all new stuff because you have to get the higher combat rating and all of that. So I can understand the sentiment there. I still hope things can be changed, but it's best to remain pessimistic as the direction appears clear. Money above all else. We, the players, and the social aspects we've built over years are the only things holding it all together. Now, while I do agree with some of these things, I also do believe that sometimes things come across harsh. I actually read a lot of the comments below, and there were comments about how the gameplay is boring, there's nothing new, and I think about how many new things often do come into the game. But we also need to remember that a lot of people that are making statements like this are hardcore players, playing for 5+ hours every single day. As you can see by the number of wisps that this player collected, over 1,000 wisps over 2 weeks. That is a lot of playtime in the game, grinding the same type of thing. So there are many different types of players. You have your very casual players playing for 15 minutes a day. You got your mid players putting in an hour or two, and then you have your hardcores that are like 5-6 hours plus per day. Some people playing literally all day long. So the frustrations are going to be a lot bigger for the people that have a lot more time invested in the game, as well as a lot more money invested in the game, based on what type of upgrades they're seeing, and also based on what kind of lack of upgrades they're seeing or bugs they're seeing inside of the game. So I do agree with some of this stuff for sure, but I also think that sometimes we are harsh on Diablo Immortal. We overlook a lot of the great things that come from this game, and it's very easy for us to throw it under the bus and say all of these things need to be changed because this isn't good. So I ask you guys, what's your experience with this? What is your experience with these types of things? Or are you someone that's just enjoying the game for what you're getting out of it, and you're loving it? Let me know how your server merges went as well. If you have any issues, any bugs, any things going on, let me know in the comment section below or over on my Discord, and I can make sure that I let everyone know about it. I'll see you guys later.